Good evening, lovely, lovely people. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for joining me again. It's lovely to see you. Thank you for letting me in your homes, as you always do every single Sunday. Very nice to see you all. So how are you? I'm dying to know. How are you? I hope you've had a good, if you're living outside of Iran, where we've got the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, I hope that you've had a good weekend. If you are in Iran, I hope you've had a good week so far, because you're already 2 days into the week, right? So I hope you've had a good day. Lovely. So hot. Yeah. Well, you know what? That means I'm going to say something interesting. You know what? We're not far off. We're not far off. We're not far off. That means it's starting to get really hot here as well. Nothing similar to the temperatures that you're experiencing in America or Iran or places like that, because I know it's really, really hot there. But someone in London says the weather's gorgeous in London. Very good. But I know that over the next few days, the weather's going to start heating up here as well. So we're not far off. Yeah. Mozambique. Wow. Thank you so much for joining. Very good. Respected teacher, give us some techniques to make our classes more fun. Right. Thank you very much, Amir. That's a very good question. Make your classes more fun. It depends if you're teaching kids or adults. I don't really have any skills to give you for kids. But what I usually do in my classes when I'm teaching is I try to get the students to do more talking. Because they are obviously taking part in the lesson, they're sharing their experiences, and that keeps them engaged a little bit. Yeah. I'm Ben from Iran. Lovely to have you, Ben. Thank you very much. Someone released their new song. Very good. Hello from Boucher. For adults, Amir, you're asking for adults. Yes, so the way I conduct my lessons is I teach something, and then I incorporate that into conversation, into a lesson, and I get the students to tell me their experiences. Yeah, so I'm sure you've got lots of tools yourself as a very good teacher. Very good. How's the weather in London? So what's the weather like in London? I believe they are the high 20s in London, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Right, we've got people joining from all over the place. Fantastic. Very good. So thank you so much for joining. Very, very lovely to see you all. I've had lots and lots of messages of some of you. Apparently the messaging system that I used didn't work very well. I do apologize. A lot of you have asked me about the Mr. Men stories that will start tomorrow. A lot of you have been asking me about the English for Work course that starts tomorrow. And apparently the messaging system that I put in place hasn't really given you all the information that I wanted it to. I do apologize. So I'm just going to give you a brief overview of what's starting tomorrow. So tomorrow, Monday, 29th of July, on my website, we will be starting a course which is called English for Work. English for Work. Let me just see if I can do something here. Let's see. Layla's English Lab. Okay. .teachable.com. Right. So this is my website. Will I be able to pin this? Let me see. I might not be able to pin this. Let me try again, because all the information is on my website. No, I'm not going to be able to pin this. Okay. Anyway, so that's my website there. It's laylasenglishlab.teachable.com. It's on my Instagram page if anybody wants to go there. And that is where, yes, I'm teaching advanced English conversation. I'm teaching English that you need at work, basically. On the website, I've got a very short video that gives you an idea of what the course is about. I know a lot of you, whether you're living inside Iran or outside, a lot of you are working. So you don't just want English for every day. You specifically want English for work. You want it to help you there. So what I've done in this course is I am teaching you the English that we use at work. So it has to be appropriate for work. But as English speakers, we use a lot of idiom. We use a lot of slang that you might not come across very often in films or in textbooks or anything like that. You need to be in a working environment to hear and understand what people are saying. So that's what I've done in this course. I've created English for work. It's just in English. So your English needs to be a little bit higher, maybe upper intermediate or advanced. I've explained everything in English. I have taught you lots of idioms, lots of slang that we use. So starting tomorrow, the very first lesson is as you walk into your workplace, right at the beginning of your shift, when you walk into your workplace, you say, "Hi, how are you?" to everybody around you. Then what do you say, right? So we don't just say hi and then sit down and start working, do we? We have a little bit of a chat with people around us. What can you talk about? What can you say? And this is where in conversation people use idioms and slang and just very native sort of English. This is what I have taught on this course, English for Work, English for Work. Unfortunately, I'm not able to pin my comment here, but if you go to my website, and the link is on my Instagram page, you will see everything right there, English for Work, and it starts tomorrow. So students will have access to the lesson tomorrow, and then next Sunday, that's when we will have our first online session. You come online, I will be there, and I will try and answer all of your questions that you have about the lesson, questions from outside the lesson, anything that's related to English at work. That's what I'm there for. Okay. The other thing I'm starting tomorrow, which so many of you are interested in, and quite a few of you have actually bought this, is the storybooks. I honestly didn't think that so many of you would be interested in stories. That's really surprised me. So I've got storybooks, stories on my website. The first one is released tomorrow. So your children can just listen to them if they want to, audio, just before they go to bed. They can listen to the English, they can listen to English and Farsi translation, they can watch the video if they want to. And what I've also done is I've given you new words, all the new words from the story. I've taken it out, I've put it in a PDF. You've got a copy of the new words, you've got the meaning of the new words in English. I've told you which sentence you find it in, and I've even given you the Farsi translation of the new words as well. Okay, so anything, Masume, thank you very much. Yes, that's the website right there. Anything you want to know about these stories, you can actually, if you want to, you can just listen to the story and enjoy as a story. People who want to, they can actually study it and learn the English from it. So there are new words there as well. If anybody wants to study it and, use it as an English lesson, it's available. You can download everything and save it on your device, save it on your phone, listen to it whenever you like, watch it whenever you like. You've got the new words, so use it, definitely. Can you put some of them on your YouTube? There is, I've already got a very small piece of it is already on YouTube. Yes, it's on my website. It's also on YouTube. It's a sample of the very first one. It should already be on YouTube. Yes. Okay. It says unavailable. You need to have a VPN, please. You need to have a VPN if you want to log in. I know there are so many of you who join from Iran, so please do try that. Okay. Anyway, that's what I'm starting tomorrow. So 2 things starting tomorrow. One is English for Work that I know a lot of you have been waiting for. and one is the stories. Any other questions, please let me know, and I'll be able to help you to tell you where you can find this, but it's all on my website. Okay, lovely, lovely. Let's get to tonight's lesson, and I will explain all of these about the course and everything at the end of the session as well. I don't want to take too much of your time. So tonight's lesson, we're going to be focusing on keep talking, which is the title of tonight's live. Keep talking. And what we're going to practice is I'm going to be talking to you, and I'm just going to be looking at your responses, and I'm going to turn that into a conversation. Is that okay? So the first question I'm going to ask is, what did you do at the weekend? The first person who comes up with an answer, I'm going to interact with you. Yeah, that's my question. What did you do at the weekend? So let's see what you've got. What business course will be held? When business course will be held? I don't have a business course at the moment. Sorry. Okay. So I've got someone here who says chilling at home. Okay, visiting my friend, chilling at home. Thank you. So you stayed at home. Lovely, lovely. I want to ask you, if somebody says to you chilling at home, how can I continue this conversation, right? So if somebody asks me, Layla, what did you do at the weekend? I try to say a little bit more than just 2 or 3 words. The idea of a conversation is I need to give enough information so that that person can choose one part of my answer and they can relate to it. Okay? If you ask me, Layla, what did you do at the weekend? And I say nothing. Nothing. What can you say to that? I've just closed the door, right, on a conversation. I haven't given you anything when I say nothing. Or when I give you a very, very short answer, you might think to yourself, oh, okay, Layla doesn't want to talk. Okay, fine. But that's not what I want, right? I want us to have a conversation. So in your response, if you can give a bit more information, that person will be able to engage with you a little bit more, right? So here we go. Muqaddasi Saeed. Cool. Did you watch Olympic Games while chilling at home? Fantastic. Now I've got some information. I've got the Olympic Games and I've got chilling at home. Thank you very much, Muqaddasi Saeed. Yes, I caught parts of the Olympic Games, and I'll be honest, I was quite disappointed actually. I don't know about the rest of you. I was disappointed because they'd blown it out of proportion. I'm going to write this down. Blown it out of proportion. Blown it out of proportion. They had advertised it's going to be huge, it's going to be big, it's not going to be indoors inside a stadium or whatever, it's going to be on the river, it's going to be outdoors, huge. So people were expecting a big deal, right? And then I don't know, it just felt really disappointing. It was, you know, it wasn't as big as what they had made it out to be. So I was a little bit disappointed, I won't lie. Yeah, I'm not saying the London one was excellent. No, obviously there are so many other countries that did a really, really good job as well. But this one, yeah, I'm thinking with all those resources, with all that money, all that time, there was one. They had music on and people were, it looked like freestyle dancing. It didn't look like there was a proper choreography, there was proper rehearsal. It's like the event manager hadn't turned up and people were like, you know what, just go on and dance, who cares, just do it. That's what it looked like. It looked really messy. That's what I felt anyway. Looks like it was a ceremony dedicated for queer people, so gays and lesbians and queer, maybe just for a specific group. I don't know. Okay, so I've got Hadi. Thank you very much, Saeed Muqaddasi. I appreciate that. So my next person, what did you do at the weekend? I'm going to move backyard lawn and trim them. So I'm going to mow the backyard lawn and trim the grass. Lovely. So again, this friend of mine, Hadi T. Behishti, has given me something in his response that I can talk about. Oh, right. So how often, how regular, or how often do you trim the lawn? So that's my question for this person. And also, you know what? I need to trim my lawn as well. It's been quite some time and, you know, the grass is growing quite long. So how often do you trim your lawn? So a conversation is a little bit like a ping pong game, isn't it? I say something, you say something, I say something. We don't just want it to be a monologue. Very good, very good. I've got Layli Wan Haydari going out for barbecue. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Where are you going? And is it a friend's place you're going to, or are you going to a restaurant? Where are you going? Now that this person has talked about a barbecue, straight away, I'm going to think about, how can I relate to that? Maybe I've experienced a barbecue recently. Maybe I have a memory about going to a barbecue. So that's what I'm going to bring to the conversation. We actually had a barbecue as well over the weekend. It was very nice with family and friends. A bit too much smoke, I'm afraid. But it was very nice. The weather was on our side. That's an idiom. I'm going to write that down. The weather was on our side. This is an idiom, which means the weather was really good. Yeah, the weather was on our side. We got very lucky in England, and we had a really, really nice barbecue. The kids were around, kids, family, and it was really nice. I think it's a very fun activity as well as meal. It's a really good idea to have a barbecue if you've got friends over. It's an activity people, you know, you can give jobs for everybody to do. Everybody gets involved. No one's sitting on the sofa yawning their head off. Oh, when's food going to be ready? Everyone gets busy and involved. It's a barbecue. It's outdoors. Kids love it. It's healthy. There's so many different varieties. If you want veg, any kind of meat, you know, there's so much you can do with barbecues. Yeah, so we had a barbecue as well. Thank you. Excellent questions. Very good. Right. What do we see? To chapter and verse you enjoyed instead of just sitting at home like me. Yes. Sometimes, Somizan, we play pantomime with friends. Is that a sarcastic comment, or what do you mean by that? You play, oh, is it because some people's English might not be, they think their English isn't enough? Is that what you're saying? You use pantomime, you mean you use sign language? Sign language. Okay, okay. I can understand that. I can understand that, yes. So some people use sign language because they think their English might not be good enough, but, you know, the person who's listening is not judging your English. I've said this so many times. The person who's listening to you, who's talking to you, is not judging your English. Native English speakers, their grammar is horrific. Their grammar is terrible, native English speakers. My grammar is not fantastic. It's okay. It has to be okay because that's what I teach. It's my job. I have to know about grammar. But the average Joe, herkesi to khiyabun, yeah? The average Joe, آدم معمولی تو خیابون, the average Joe doesn't know anything about grammar, nothing at all. You stop somebody on the street and you ask them, excuse me, can you name 3 tenses in the English language? I promise you, 8 out of 10 people will say, what's a tense? What is that? What is that? Is that English? Is that history? They don't even know what you're talking about, honestly. So please don't worry about your English. Pantomime is a family game, mostly famous in Iranian community. Okay, thank you very much. Let's go to I'm so sorry. Mina, I think, is that the first name? I'm so sorry. First of all, I cleaned my house. After that, my son and I went out for lunch. Finally, we went grocery shopping and then we went back home. Lovely. So I've got a lot of information from this lovely, lovely person here. Cleaned the house, went for lunch, did some grocery shopping and came home. That's a lot of information. Now I can sit down and choose which parts of this answer I want to relate to. Okay. I can say, oh, where do you usually do your grocery shopping? Yeah, that's continuing the conversation. You had lunch, right? So how often during the week do you eat out? That's another one. Your son, great. Does your son help you with your house chores? Because I get my kids to help me. If my kids don't do their chores, they can't go out. They can't have devices. They have to do their chores if they want to do anything. So do you get your kids to help you in chores? All of this, I can continue this conversation because of everything I've got from our friend. Fantastic. Private class, please message me if you would message me. Thank you so much. میشه لطفاً بیشتر لایو بذارید مثلا هفته‌ای 3 بار حداقل. Wow. I wish. Who's that? Arsalan. I really wish if I had more time, I definitely would because I love interacting with you guys. I really do. I really, really do. Differences between good on you or good for you. I think good on you is more American. We don't say good on you. We say good for you. Good on you sounds a bit more American, maybe. We just say good for you. Good for you. آفرین به تو. Okay. I don't know why, but you remind me of Martha in Baby Reindeer. Okay, I'll take that as a compliment. I'll take that as a compliment. So that means hopefully you're saying something good about me because I don't know Martha. I'll take that as a compliment. As a compliment. So when someone says something to you, just like our friend did, thank you so much. When someone says something to you and you don't know are they من میدونم این دوست عزیز هیچ قصد مسخره کردن ندارن خب معلومه که به احتمال زیاد دارن تعریف میکنن خیلی ممنون but if somebody says something to you and normally in a normal situation you don't know are they joking, are they making fun of you, are they complimenting you, you don't know. You say, okay, I'll take it as a compliment. It means I don't know if you're joking, if you're making fun, but I'm going to choose to take that as a compliment. I'll take it as a compliment. Yeah, I'll take it as a compliment. Okay. شما خصوصی زبان تدریس میکنید. Could you send me a message, please? If you could, then we can have a chat. Okay, lovely, lovely. Very good. I know a lot of you are asking for private lessons. I haven't been able to find another teacher who can speak English and Farsi to be able to help me in teaching private lessons, unfortunately. I have asked quite a few teachers from different colleges to come and help me to teach. And I have asked, you know, are you familiar with, you know, grammar? Are you familiar with idioms and that kind of thing? A lot of them say no, unfortunately. And so they don't really have a good understanding of the language. And because I say my students ask lots of questions, my students want to learn properly. They don't want you just to teach from a textbook. You have to create your own lessons, which is what I do on all of my courses. I don't use a textbook because that's cheating. If you want to learn from a textbook, you don't need to pay me. You just go get a textbook, right? I want to give you the real English that you can use when you go out. So I've said this to a few teachers from colleges and all of them have said, no, sorry, I only use a textbook, which is why I haven't got any other teachers to help me teach, which is why I don't have a lot of private lessons available, I'm afraid. It's just me teaching. I haven't been able to find other teachers to come and join me. I'm so sorry. It was a compliment. Yes, I guessed that. Thank you very much. Thank you. Could you please say some slang sentences? Slang sentences. Slang actually is what I'm teaching in the course that starts tomorrow. Idioms and slang, that's what I'm teaching tomorrow in the course that starts. An example of slang is, for example, what can we say? I don't want to say something that's already in the course. Um, oh, you've been telling porcupines. You've been telling porcupines. This is what we tell kids, yeah? You've been telling porcupines. Porcupines is slang, and it means lies. Instead of telling a child, you've been lying to me, which is horrible, isn't it? When you tell a child, you've been lying to me. It's really bad. We say it in slang. You've been telling porcupines. Porcupines. This is what I mean by slang. You need to hear it, you need to know the meaning so that you know what it means, and then you can use it yourself in conversation. Obviously, porcupines is not something that we use at work, but other slang and idiom is exactly what I'm teaching on the course that starts tomorrow. Okay. How can I register to your class? Please, please, please go to my website. As soon as you go to my website, you will see right at the top, you will see I've got the storybooks and I've got English for Work. And I suggest, I'm not forcing anybody to sign up to any of my courses at all, but if you are serious about starting, you know, any course, might I suggest that you start at the beginning of the course? I've got students who start and they trickle in. I've got students who trickle in the middle of the course, and that's fine. But that means you have to try and catch yourself up. We might be lesson 5 and you've just joined the course. Welcome. But we won't be able to stop the course. You're going to have to catch yourself up. So it's really good if you can start with us from the very beginning. Porcupines. Oh, what's this? Nasreen. Like I said, in the US, I want to put a bun, not bean, bun in the oven. And I didn't know the meaning. Yeah, so when you have a bun in the oven, that means somebody who is pregnant. Yeah, so that's different. I can teach if you wish. Layla, who's this? Jaber, thank you very much. That's very kind of you. If you want to send me a message, that would be very nice for Jaber. I've had quite a few students who have said, you know, we'd like to come and teach, but I have a very, very, very strict interview process for people who want to come and work with me. And I'm sure, Jaber, your English is very good. But whoever it is who's going to come and join me in teaching English, their English has to be completely fluent, because I want to make sure, it's my reputation. I want to make sure whoever is teaching with me, that they understand the culture of the UK language. They understand all of these slang, all of these idioms. Layla, why do we say this and we don't say this? There has to be a proper, complete understanding, which is why I'm very, very strict in my interview process for people who are going to join me. But I'd love to hear from you. لیلا عزیز شما خیلی زیبا و دوست داشتنی. Oh my God, I'm blushing. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. That's very kind of you. Oxford word with pictures is useful for learning. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so we've been friends for donkey's years. That's another slang. Absolutely. Yes. Your eyes color is shining like the moon in the 14th night of the month. Wow, that's very kind of you. What is the culture of Britain? Sitting in bars. That's a big part of it, yes. The culture is definitely sitting in bars and going to the pub and drinking. And obviously, a lot of people don't just drink alcohol. They go for socializing. There are lots and lots of British people who don't drink. They're not alcoholics. They don't drink alcohol at all. They only have soft drinks. Lots of people, either because of their faith or because of their religion or because of health reasons, they don't drink alcohol. And they stick to, you know, orange juice or coffee or anything like that. Lots and lots of people don't necessarily drink. The idea of going to a bar or a pub is mainly to socialize. There are unfortunately people who go to bars and pubs just to get drunk. I don't want to comment on those people, but Usually it's just going somewhere to hang out and socialize with friends or family. Yeah. I'm crazy about your accent. That's very kind of you. Thank you very much. روش برگزاری کلاس شما چگونه هست? Yes, if you would kindly go to the website, please. The link is in my bio. As soon as you go to my website, you will be able to see the courses that I'm starting tomorrow. Yes, okay. Very good. Would you mind if you write and pin new idioms and expressions you're using here? It would be great if you do this. That's a very good idea. What I do, can your kids speak Farsi? No, unfortunately they can't, which is very bad. What I do is I'm recording this session and then it will go on YouTube, and then in the caption of YouTube I've got all the idioms written down. Yes. من میخواستم با شما کلاس آنلاین بردارم. چطور امکانش هست؟ Please send me a message. Please send me a message if I have availability. Yes, usually a lot of people are still on the waiting list. There are people who have been on the waiting list for a long time. I have got some students who've been with me for years. I've got students who lived in Iran, and then they came with me. They learnt their English, not just private lessons from my courses. They learnt their English and now they are working in other countries. I've had students who have set up their own business in an English-speaking country, not in the UK. I've had students who are now at university. They were able to pass their course. I don't teach IELTS, I teach everyday English, but the idioms and phrasal verbs in everyday English on my courses have helped them in their IELTS even. I don't teach IELTS technique or anything. So please don't think it's just private lessons. The same thing I teach in private lessons, that's exactly the same thing I teach on my courses. I promise you, it's exactly the same thing. Okay. Could you please tell about here we go versus there we go? They are very similar. They're very, very similar. They can be used in different situations. If I'm in a restaurant and somebody brings me my salad, my bread, my drink, whatever, they can say, here we go, or they can say, there we go. They're both the same. If I can see, for example, somebody is starting a conversation that I've already said to them, please don't talk about this again, but they keep going back to that conversation because they want to start an argument, I say, oh, here we go again. Oh, here we go again. You've started again. So we use them in different situations. Here we go and here we go again. How come immigrants who live in the US are way more successful than in the UK in terms of learning English? Immigrants who live in the US are way more successful. I can't answer that. I don't know. It might depend on how long they've lived in the States. I can't answer that. I'm sorry. You are the best online English teacher, language teacher. Thank you. That's very kind of you, Ronika. I love you, Layla. Wow. Thank you very much. Thanks for your lessons. How about here you are? Here you are is when you want to give somebody something. Here you are. Here you go. There we go. We use this for when you want to give somebody something. Okay. کجا باید به شما پیام بدم برای کلاس آنلاین؟ Direct, please, if you could send me a message on direct. I will tell you now that I don't have availability in my private lessons, but my courses teach exactly the same thing. Okay, so please go and take a look at some of the lessons on my courses. I'm teaching exactly the same thing, courses and private. It's exactly the same thing. Yeah. Okay, lovely. So going back to tonight's topic that we were talking about, keep talking. If you give enough information in your answer, that person who's talking to you can think, okay, I will talk about that aspect of your answer, and they will be able to keep the conversation going. If you ask me, Layla, what did you do last night? And I say, nothing. I've just killed the conversation. What can you say as soon as I say nothing? You say to me, Layla, what did you do last night? And I say nothing. What can you say? I haven't given you anything for you to relate to, right? You might just be able to say, oh, nothing sounds nice, but then that's it. That's the end of the conversation. So if we want to keep the conversation going, we need to give that person something so that they can take the information and they can keep going with it. Some of the people that we've had here, they have said, for example, I went out with my son, we went and had some lunch, I did some chores, did some shopping. That's 3 bits of information. Fantastic. Somebody else said they want to mow the lawn. That's great. So let's give something in the conversation and that person will be able to think. Because if I don't give anything in the conversation when I'm talking to somebody, that person might think, okay, maybe Layla's not in a good mood. Maybe she doesn't want to answer. Maybe she just doesn't like talking to me. And they will shut down. That person will shut down, okay? And they will become quiet and they will leave you. And you might think to yourself, where, what happened? I want to have a conversation. Where are you going? The reason is because they haven't heard enough so that they can continue the conversation going, right? I went out one evening with the lovely Atife, who's on Instagram. Lovely lady. We went out one evening and I think she put a story on her Instagram page as well. And she saw wherever I go, it doesn't matter if I'm in a car park, if I'm in a supermarket, if I'm in a cafe, cinema, restaurant, wherever I am, I talk to people. Firstly, I really enjoy talking to people, getting to know people. But secondly, you learn more about other people. And even I might learn some new words as well, right? So she actually saw that I talk to everybody. And this is what I'm going to suggest you do as well, if you can. If you do live in an area where you can speak English, if you do have friends who are learning English with you, please do try and use your opportunity to speak English. Say enough in your conversation so they can listen and they can respond. And I promise you, in some of my lessons, even in my courses when we have online sessions, tonight, I had a lovely gentleman and a lady who both attended the course Modal Verbs, because we're doing a Modal Verbs course right now. And on Sundays, we have an online session before I come on live. For about 45 minutes, I was talking to these lovely people, not about the lesson. We were just talking about things going on in the UK. And that's because both of them gave me enough information where I could respond. If they were both quiet, we wouldn't be having a conversation for 45 minutes, right? So let's keep talking, and that'll really help. Okay. Usually native speakers talk quite fast, yeah. How can we adjust our speaking speed with them as we need to think about using the proper words and phrases? Amir, thank you. That's where you need to familiarize yourself with vocabulary, with information, with these idioms, with these slangs, with the culture, with, English. So you need to familiarize yourself. There's no way you will understand something if you've never heard it, if you've never read it. You need to familiarize yourself with it, and then you'll be able to use it in conversation. Yeah. So listen as much as you can to programs, radios, YouTube, podcasts. Read as much as you can. It doesn't have to be a textbook. Textbook is boring. Oh my God, textbook is so boring. Pick up a newspaper, pick up a magazine, read a news article on a website, something that gives you real English, not just a textbook. My job involves talking to people and I really enjoy to chat with them. Yeah, lovely. Which exam is very important for English students? I don't know, sorry. Okay, great. So I'm going to end the session there. Just one final note. I will be starting English for Work tomorrow. That's when the course starts. If anybody wants to join, please go to my website and you will be able to join straight from there. If you're still not sure, I've got a little video that will explain to you how I've organized the course. Okay, so you can watch that. If I've had so many of you talk to me and message me about the stories. That's been hugely popular for adults and for kids. That starts tomorrow as well. And you can download all of the files. You can keep it on your device. It's yours. You keep it. But I've also got new words for each one of the lessons as well. Each one of the stories, I've got new words as well. So you can turn it into a lesson for yourself, for the kids, whoever. That starts tomorrow as well. Okay, it's all on the website. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you again next weekend. Take care. Thank you very much. Good night.